Hello. Okay, it works. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone in the world you all are. It's your Blue Archive Gacha Whale, Uma Musume Fish, beginner artist self-proclaimed, and your boy Tosan Yu. Welcome. So for today, let me adjust that. For today, I will be doing VTuber fan art again. Still with the program of what's called art stream, VTuber fan art, and drawing this time Kikirara Vivi from Hololive device Flow Glow. So like from the newest JP chain that's out there. Hello Bailiff, welcome to the art stream. welcome. Not Flame Knight. Wow, let's go. So the stream will be like about 2 hours roughly, and you can like expect artwork of the quality of the samples that you like see on the left side. That's like about it. I must like say. And while that happens, I will like yap and chat until like I'm done. So bear with me, I suppose. Or you can mute me, I suppose, and then just like skip 2 hours ahead or something, and then yeah. But to be honest, like if I watch like an art stream, I never like mute it, to be honest. For the most part, I like do something also, or like also draw, I don't know. But like I remember, like nowadays I don't watch many art streams, to be honest, but back in the days, when I would like tune to art streams, I most of the time would also do that, or like maybe surf like surf on the internet while that's happening. But when it came to drawing, there was also always like 2020, like with Ina's, or like 2021. It was like a pretty short series, but Ina would like do something of a gesture draw along, and it was like called Ina Academy. There was like a hashtag for that, and it's like pretty much of like drawing like gestures, like poses and everything. And back in the days, I was like not really familiar with digital art. I still am not familiar with it, but this was like one of the few times where like the artists, aspiring artists, you know, of Ina's viewers would like get together and like draw along with her, and those who didn't, they could like vibe, you know, just be present. It's like good enough to support. But it was like pretty great that this was like one of the few opportunities where actually they get like together and do something with her, and it was like pretty helpful, I must like say. And then we would like post, like we viewers who like drew along would like post or like results, you know, or results from the draw along, put it like on X, back in the days it was called Twitter, with the hashtag, and it was like one of the few times where I got like a lot of like likes on my posts. It was like triple digits, sometimes it gets like past 50, and usually my art doesn't get like much unless the fandom is like pretty based and looks like actively at this kind of stuff. Or it gets retweeted, you know. But yeah, doesn't happen often with Hololive VTubers, I must say. Holo Stars? Wasn't really, I think. but it does get likes every now and then. I did like back in the days that you could like see, you know, that the likes are like visible, you know? The likes are visible. And in this way, people also like check out in this way like the fan art of like other people, you know? Back in the days, like it was like more rapid, or like, you know, like not every single artwork is like retweet worthy, but still get like acknowledged, you know, and then yeah. It's like good and bad. That it's like, it has pros and cons, you know? There's like good and bad. I'm like, okay, your bailiff are like of the opinion, okay, should have kept it public. And it has like really like the pro of like, okay, we can like check the art out. Some of the art is like not retweet worthy, you know. And then we're gonna check out the public likes of the VTuber. But there was also like the thing, for some reason, you know, like when you retweet, it gets like on the timeline of other people. If you like it, usually it shouldn't get into the timeline of other people. But then it was at some point visible to other people, like what you like. Like, okay, you can like go into the tabs or like what they liked, and then the likes are like visible, yes, but it shouldn't like get like stripped into the timeline, you know? Usually not. Like some people like, you know, who are like normies, they follow me, you know, we play like Smash, like community, you know, and then they would like be on the bus in public, you know, like would open like Twitter, and then they get like my likes, you know, visible on the timelines, like some hot anime girl, and they'll be like, yo, I can't go in public with that, Toshan, what do you post? But they shouldn't like be mad at me, they should be like mad at like Twitter, like how they handled it, you know. But it was like kind of like weird update. But sometimes, you know, even though cons, sometimes I would like get something interesting to see. And then yeah, it was interesting seeing what other people came across, art stuff and all. I must agree. You could like see so much hidden potential there, or like some hidden gem, you know, like something that would not be on your radar when you just like interested, hey, what does my Oshi like, or what is the person I'm like following, like looking into, and then holy crap, and then you get like those recommendations. Sometimes I look like outside of Twitter, you know, like there's something of a site like Mall, my anime list, and sometimes I would like also look at what they were into, you know, if they were like active, you know, kept it active, what they're currently watching, and also get my recommendations that way. Hello Deadfish, welcome to the art stream. I just saw it a minute ago, I say, but I was like in the kind of low. Hello and welcome, I'm drawing Kikirara Vivi from Hololive. Device Flow Claw. Hello. Just pumped in, you have such a cute art. Thank you. I guess it's like my niche. It's not a niche, like everyone can draw cute art, right? But like drawing in this kind of style, I suppose. What do you like about it? Not really sure about that. It's hard to say. Yeah. I guess so. Sometimes you can't put it into words what you want to like say. I have like sometimes the issues too. Like English is not necessarily my first language. I can get my message across, you know, but sometimes this also gets like, oh, what do I want to say? But kind of the reason why I like keep like trying, you know. since there are like a lot of useful things on the internet, and then yeah, it opens me like some doors if I like learn how to express myself via that language. But expressing yourself in general. So the current plan with like the fan art for here, Vivi has like this kind of how do you say, serifu, they say like in Japanese, like something like introduction, you know, like the catchphrase. And for her it's like Vivi, and she has like really cute voice. Like it's not like the anime cute, it's like there's like something genuine about the cuteness she emits, like the positivity. Kansai band even, like, and they're like usually of a different breed than like the Tokyo Japanese, you know. And they really like her energy. But I guess I'm gonna draw her like in a kind of, you know, like with this style. Like anime girls, anime boys, they're like, you know, they have like the aesthetics of such a one. And can be like pretty cute. And such. Like a depiction of arts, sometimes of our desires, you know, they're like people who draw for the reason of like, yeah, I wanna see a cute girl, or like some hot nesans, and then they draw that, and sometimes it gets scarier, you know, like how good they are, you know, some are like drawing for the motivation, yeah, I wanna draw something spicy, and then I post it, and then people are like, sauce? And then they can like say, I'm the sauce, you know. And they get like really good at like that. And that gets like scary. But for me, I don't really have any reasons of that. I'm like, my power level is like way too weak. Like I can't hold a candle against like fujos or like people who draw like off from a deep desire. Most of the times I just depict the VTubers, you know. They look like, you know, when you see like a model, and then rule 34, if you know, you know. If there's like something of a fictional character, then we must do that with them. Something like that, right? But if I look at VTubers, while they look like anime, you know, they don't behave like anime. They're like still real people behind that, right? And that's like what I'm drawing, like, more or less. They're like derpy, they are like funny, they have like their wacky sides, and then I just depict it in this cute and derpy way. I want to say like cute and funny, but it's like not the same thing as what, it's not really that, you know. Guess I'm special? I draw stickmen. Like Stickman have also like their charm. And there's also like Henry Stickman, like this game, right? And it's also like special. So yeah, you're special. Henry Stickman, a good game by the way, has a lot of references. I haven't played it, but I watched enough gameplay so that I was like thinking, yeah, doesn't matter much if I would buy it. Saw you on my recommended. Yay, let's go. I'm getting acknowledged by Senpai. In any case, hello, Poyo. Welcome to the art stream. Drawing Kikirara Vivi from Hololive Device Flow Glow. Welcome, welcome. I like your chill vibes. Thank you. Well, I'm trying like to fill the air until the artwork's completed. It takes like about roughly 2 hours, and You have like on the left side some samples on like how this can look like art style wise. Mostly I like draw like that if I draw like VTuber fan art. And then yeah. Is any molds? Let me see. My first time drawing Kikirara Vivi, so need to like look at the design it any now and then. No, not like that. Alright. I'll be streaking around while drawing as well. Alright. Then let's draw together, I suppose. I used to do that too, a lot. When there would be an art stream, I would draw. At least in the past it was like via draw-alongs. Gesture draw-alongs. That we like in the same time, almost like real life, you know, real time, like would draw on the same thing. Not necessarily like Magma or like Gartic Phone. I did that a few times, but you know, they would put a video and it's like, okay, 5 minutes to draw the person from this pose, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 10 minutes, you know, something like that. And did like a lot with like drawing speed. There was like one time where I missed like one in Academy, but I think like I'm gonna rewatch a VOD for that, I suppose. But it has been like so long, 5 years. I should like get my ass up, I suppose. I'm trying to do animation, but I don't know what to draw. Also I'm starting, so there's nothing impressive. I mean, in the beginning, there's always like humble beginnings, right? We start as an underdog, but we won't always stay an underdog. It will like be tough, but if you hang in there, you know, if you get past tutorial level, then the fun can begin. When you're gonna get past tutorial, you know, when you're gonna recognize that, can be pretty unclear, but once you take a step back, you know, or like if other people point it out, maybe then you will like be, yo, I came pretty far, you know. Right, with other people just feel more fun? Yeah, I think so too. You're not lonely. I mean, in the beginning I was also like not great at drawing. Sometimes my big ego would carry me, I don't know, like I had big ego back in the days. And be like, oh, I'm so much better than you all. I don't know. And obviously my drawings are like pretty bad. They would like go broadly around, you know, I'm gonna be a mangaka, you know, I'm gonna draw a manga, I'm gonna be a great story writer. I had like storyboards here and there, would like show it about people, you know, like my bad art, and I was like looking pretty proud, you know, and yeah. Did I have potentials? Did people saw potential? Not really, but at some point my art became better, and then I'd be like, looking at my other art, I'd be like, man, I was crap back then. What did I show to other people? And you know, when you cringe, if you look at back in the past, when you know, when you have grown a bit, you know. Might not necessarily be crowning skill, but you know, you matured as a person, and usually having an ego is not necessarily a good thing. Sometimes you can use it to your advantage, but you know, like Blue Lock, you know, they had like this kind of thing there, and this goes like a lot into psychology, you know, like reading other people's intentions, not necessarily mind reading, but you know, kind of reading them. Well, it's like a solo kind of thing, you know, like drawing an ego, right? But I mean, maybe you get it, you know, like they're like toxic gamers and then they get gamer rage, you know, something like that. gonna be like healthy gamer, healthy artist, you know, healthy artist, right? Really relatable, yeah. Wait for an update in like 5 years. Yeah, 5 years sounds good. It took me like about 2 years until I like saw, oh, now I can like draw smooth faces, you know? But at the same time, I was like in a time, in an era, that didn't really had access to internet. Nowadays, if you want to learn drawing, you have internet for that. You have all the guides, tutorials there to help you out. There are also always like cool people on YouTube. PewDiePie, also one of those people. He just teach himself drawing for no reason. And then he has like 3 months, 6 months, and then like 12 months, this kind of difference of videos there. And yeah, he made art journey hype, you know, like from zero, from underdog to like pro, or like, you know, or like not an underdog anymore. He's like better than in the start, something like that. And it's like pretty cool, you know. And I also like looked at other reactions, you know, like pro artist reacts to like PewDiePie, and then it's pretty valid, you know. He does like applies a lot of positive things, a lot of like nice things to art journey, and it all helps. The only thing they kind of like nitpick is like, oh, have more confidence, man, you're pretty good, man. And then yeah, they were like something like that, you know. But not really a critique, or like, you know, or like that would like bite you, you know. It's just like overall like we support each other. There's nothing like where we punch down or anything. Is it talent? Is it because he's rich? There's always like those kind of other things, you know. Maybe he's like you know, he has advantages we couldn't like use, but to be honest, there's like not really much of a secret. Just have kind of a goal, more or less. Like what you do, you know, like if you don't enjoy it, why are you doing it, you know? Then yeah. And like I don't play a game if I don't like it, you know, something like that. Nice art, man. Hey, thank you. G-O-A-T. Okay, I like the name. But I think like that's a mouthful. We're gonna go with goat, I suppose. Hello, welcome to the art stream. Drawing Kikirara Vivi from Hololive Device Flow Glow. Welcome, welcome. It's a mouthful. If I was an art critic, I wouldn't say anything about famous people like him. His fandom's too big. I suppose. But you know, sometimes you have like the I'm pro artist card, you know, I can say what I want, my opinion is valid. And when we can just like go, you know. But yeah, to be honest, I get the point. Like you want, like it's like a David versus Goliath, you know. But Goliath doesn't have his stone sling, you know. To be honest, like when I posted my art in a forum, I got roasted, man. I got roasted by some people who even like do college art study and such, and then they flex their art, you know, in the same forum where they like roasted me. And it, like a side-to-side comparison, and I got so murdered. And yeah, like this is what I meant, like, oh, I was like very ego, I had so much ego, I was like, yo, I'm the best, and I was like pretty bad back then, and they like stockpiled on me, and yeah, I was just like accepting my point, accepted defeat, and be like, okay, then I'm not gonna be an artist in this year, you know, I'm gonna do it maybe next year, the next 2 years, something like that. dedication is all you need to progress in art. Yes, you need like kind of a goal, more or less. I love your chibi art style. Hello, people order. Oh man, how the people order are patties. Oh gosh, this is a mouthful. But hello, welcome to the art stream. Join Kikirara Vivi from Hololive, Device Slow Glow. Welcome, welcome. Oh. Why would I do that? The art degree is one of the least important in my opinion. Yeah. Criticism helps though. Yeah, it does help sometimes if like opening your mind. If like a lot of people on the internet who like roast you, you know, are like opening your eyes, I guess, you know. They were like not the nicest, but when like one artist I look like up to in the forum would like see this kind of, you know, interaction, and they were like in DMs with me, they were like, man, you were like pretty mature, you know, you were like a pretty good boy. I kind of like feel see it's horrible that they would like you know, like stockpile on you and make you, I don't know, no, it's like punching downwards, and they flexing and this and everything. There were like some helpful people, of course, like in the same forum too, but for the most part it was like you know, the ending was like me being defeated, like, you know, something like that. The website nowadays like kind of shut down, you can't like really look it up anymore, but it's like still my memory, it's like still my brain, like in theirs probably too, but you know, at least somebody has common sense. Yeah, yeah. It was like a pretty small art forum. This was like a German kind of website. It was like managed, or like it was like from a manga company. Don't know how if you call it company, but like publishers, you know, like Shueisha and everything. But like in Germany, I think they were like called Carlsen, something like that, and they had like their kind of manga art forum there. It was like pretty niche but pretty good website, and yeah, doesn't exist anymore, but it had like connected me, brought me like to some cool new people that like tutorials there and everything. But nowadays we have YouTube, everything you can like look at YouTube or like Insta, you know. But like looking at Instagram, looking at Twitter, it's like kind of hard, so you have like more success with Reddit maybe. And yeah, YouTube. Even like with JP artists, they're like helpful. With like subtitles, you know. Well, we can like say, you know, that internet does have its bad apples. They're like, you know, not everyone is like bad. I would like say. You can like make friendships there. Or like meet cool people in general. I wouldn't have like thought that I can like find some people there. Sometimes I'm like way too, I don't know, naive, you know, like if you don't know much about a certain thing, you're like more optimistic, kind of. Like I didn't like know much about the art thing. I was like looking at art mostly like looking at manga, but sometimes you overestimate yourself and be like honeymoon phase after you play the tutorial and be like, yeah, I nailed that, now I'm pro. But there are like more steps, you know, like advanced, intermediate, something like that, and then like at the end it's like, okay, you're pro, you know. And yeah, be humble, I suppose. If it takes like a beating to start to be humble, I suppose it can also work, but yeah. After that I was like, okay, keep your expectations low and don't expect too much and take like step by step, and then if you like see the level up, then you can like celebrate, I suppose. But maybe keep for yourself, I don't know, you know. Sometimes people, they share everything to the internet, you know, as if it's like their diary, it's like the vlog, and be like, yo, today I ate a banana. Oh, I saw like a cute girl, should I talk to her? What do you think, chat? Something like that, you know. And but yeah, some of the things you should like keep private, and for yourself, once you see like really notable change, that maybe, you know, For the most part, if I use like social network, social media, I don't really share anything. And then I choke my saliva. Oh, my saliva, yeah. Like a lot of like details, you know. I think like if we have like not Yumeniki, Mirai-Nikki, I suppose, then it will be like a powerful diary, you know, I suppose. But if it's like, you know, why do share that? You know, we don't need to know that. Show something interesting. You know? More or less, you know, like if you think like about how the chat would like look like this kind of scenario, how they would like comment. And sometimes it's like kind of interesting, like how, you know, they're like games, you know, and then there's like a streamer in this game, and then, you know, if you write a story, you can like write a character with, you know, create some characters, write the character. They're like this kind of archetype, isn't that? But what archetypes are chat, you know? How can you accurately depict chat? And this is like kind of a art in itself to like not only write one character, but like a whole chat, you know, like which is like not one character. That's like it's not really a hive mind as well. It's like a lot of different people. How do you depict that? And sometimes I get like surprised on like how accurate it can like be. Like for example, like needy streamer overloads. Yeah, this one was like a pretty good game. It has like, it's disturbing topics, but once you kind of get to the true ending and then like think about everything there, kinda, you know, it's the nail on its head on how accurate it is and what message it like has. But yeah, regarding like social media, I usually don't really post much there. Like if I wanna talk about something, you know, share some stories, I'm gonna do another stream. If there's like a lot of like silence, and then I'd be like, gosh, that's so boring. I need to like fill up the time. I need to like stall until like the art is done. Let's talk. Or mute me, whatever. But usually I think like Satsudan kind of you know, bring in a Satsudan into like anything that takes a lot of time to like complete is usually, you know, pretty viable. Well, some people have like a lot of interesting stories to tell. In art stream I don't really expect that. I do go mostly like in a Satsudan specialized stream, you know, when it's just like the avatar there, and then they're talking. That's like carrying them. And I had like a lot of fun with like some Hololive VTubers and Holo stars, mostly Holo stars, regarding Satsudan. But yeah, Hololive, I think like Kali, I do like listening to Kiara for Holo English Myth. She talks a lot, even outside of chatting streams. Like before she starts a stream, you can kind of expect like 1 hour talk at max before she actually starts the game. And then, yeah, it's like a lot she talks, or like not sometimes interesting to listen to, because it's like, you know, they're anime characters, you know, anime characters are fictional, but the characters, the people behind are like real, and then the stories they like share, like oddly detailed and kind of bizarre, but because it's like so detailed and everything, they did make that story up, you know. A lot of like random things. And sometimes you can kind of like, you know, yeah, sometimes they share like something about themselves in this way. And then there's like this kind of feeling of, they're just like me, for real, you know. And then kind of like there's a bond starting. Didn't know that this kind of thing could exist, you know. I do have like my favorite anime characters, yeah. Some people have their waifus and husbandos, right? Sometimes I kind of wanted to understand the futures, you know? Like some of my artist friends are like, or like some of my old artist friends, like we don't have contact anymore after the German art forum like shut down. But I kind of like want to understand them too, and then like watch like some of the stuff they usually watch, or like things like Gintama, Hunter x Hunter, and yo, those are pretty good series. I kind of missed something out there. At the same time, I was like kind of at an age where I didn't have internet access, you know. Everything I learned is like looking at like offline stuff, like manga, like light novel, and what else? Books, art books, not art books, like how to draw, guidebooks, yes, guidebooks, something like that, and like visiting an art course, kind of. And if you wanna learn art, internet is like there. I had like really latent access there. Sometimes I kind of like collected PET bottles. You can like trade them in Germany, like for, you know, like for each bottle 25 cents, and then I would like collect money like that, go to that cafe, and download like some useful art stuff on a USB stick, get home, and then like plug it into my Windows XP professional potato PC, and then like look at the stuff that I like get from there, while having only like with 1.73 gigabyte space to play with. It was like pretty low. I couldn't like really play AAA games on that. I was like pretty much you know, underdog, I suppose, a poor boy with not much to play. But I still learned how to draw. Dang, yes. Maybe you can kind of like guesstimate, like kind of rough estimate on like how old I was, or like from what generation I am, but it was like pretty rough, you know. Like trying to with the art journey. And I was like pretty dedicated back then. Maybe because there was like nothing with brain rot or whatever, but I had like a lot of free time, and then I was like, man, I wanna draw. I wanna be big, you know, something like that. You people have it good nowadays. You people have it good nowadays. You have like all the access, you have internet, you have like, you can like check whatever you need. I had to fight. I need to like and sometimes watching anime, sometimes I'm like also like doing my research there. I like you know, downloading YouTube videos, loading on the USB stick, something like that. USB stick was like a lot bigger. Was like, okay, this was also like pretty cheap USB stick. Like my father gave me one. This was like 2 gigabytes, something like that. It was like, holy crap, that's a small space when like my driver on my potato PC. Thank you of that. But then at some point in this card, there will be Windows 7, there Windows 8, or something like that. And then yeah. But it was like this kind of time. Now we can just use Pinterest, lol. Yeah, but even like Pinterest is like nothing like, we can take references really. I think like nowadays it's like being infected by, you know, it's been infected. Infected by AI generated images, something like that. At least like from what I heard. I don't really use Pinterest. I sometimes like, you know, if I do like Google image search, sometimes it leads like to Pinterest, something like that. It's like my only like encounter with like memory on like how I access Pinterest. Are really annoying nowadays? Yeah. Yeah. But it did help people to make money. There were people who won art contests like that. And then other people with like an investor mindset look at that and be like, yo, I don't have to draw, I can gain money. Let's do that too. And then they do that. training the AI program or something like that, infecting like art websites, including social media, and then, yeah, I suppose. And for people who care, this kind of is like an annoying topic. For me, I don't like it too, to be honest, like AI. But it exists out there. There are like some countermeasures we can do to protect our art. For my case, I don't really have to worry since this doesn't make sense. Like everything I draw like with this art style, like there's no anatomy really. I just do like how it feels right, and yeah. And from what I like kind of like saw from a Japanese artist, he does like something of a like Urode sensei. He does like a manga strip series of like Blue Archive, which is like called like Pyu Nya Kaibu, something like that, like with a nya, like a cat thing. And those are like a lot of fluffy, soft-looking chibi characters, like with a really soft pen drawn, like mostly like in a warm red, like this kind of atmosphere. And then he kind of like did a test there and declared like Pluna Kaibu is safe from AI, something like that. And it's kind of like, okay, it can like kind of copy like the anatomy thing and this and that, but if it comes like to chibi artworks, it has like a lot of difficulties. And I'll be like, okay, I think my chibi thing is like also safe. I don't need glaze or like nightshade or something like that. I tried it like, I used it like for a few months, but I was like, you know, it takes too much time. You need a really beefy PC, else it's gonna be super slow. But yeah, if you still like draw a kind of traditional, you know, way, with like anatomy included, backgrounds and everything, then yeah, glaze and nightshade are like good there to help you out. Beep 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 beep. Okay, things doesn't make sense here. Do not make change. We were talking about Webtoon. They're working on a program for lazy non-artists to make 3D characters. Wow. Those would be later by AI put into manhwa panels. Open a picture, looks great, like it's just... Yeah, okay, yeah. You can like kind of see it, like if you look closer. Like maybe the face is looking good. But if you look like at details, let's say like twin tails, hands, legs, toes, or like if it has to continue, like animation, or like picture by picture, you know, like from one scene to the other scene, then it's not consistent or something. Or if you look at things like writings, letters, music notes, like if there's some hair accessory like that. Like, there's this character, or like this VTuber, Otonose Kanade, you know? She has like a hairpin in form of like music notes. Artists will always get that right, but AI can't really get it, you know? It looks like really swimmy, really like messy, and then can't keep the same note consistent. And it goes like to a clean note like that, probably like really messy, and then yeah. Or like if there are any writings there, you know? If you look like, I don't know if you know Arknights, you know? But there's this main character called Amiya. There's like Rhodes Islands written on her jacket, and the AI can't like get that even right, like writings. They can only draw, like generate drawings, but not like writing, you know? It's also really interesting. But yeah, it kind of makes sense. We can like ask it, generate me like a character, you know, like this is the reference. But we don't really ask for like writing, you know. They don't really like, understand like. There was like a really interesting, like really good quote or something like that. Regarding like, regarding this kind of topic. I have to recall it first. The only I which I listen to is Nirosama. Yeah, me too, me too. I don't know, like she feels genuine. You know, like, you can like sometimes ask AI to do like something really silly. Hey, draw me a train with legs, you know? Something like that. And then they would generate a picture with like a train, but with spider legs for some reason. Just only like, okay, train with legs, you know? And you get that. Okay, but in every kind of generated image, there's like always like train tracks. Because, you know, they're like on train tracks, right? And like some background. But if the train has like legs, why does it need train tracks, right? Doesn't make sense. And while we humans can kind of like see the issues and make sense of like things, the AI doesn't really like question that, you know, just like, you know, follows like the inputs, like the words combinations, things, looks in the internet like what is familiar like that, and then puts it in there, you know. So it doesn't really understand what it's like generates. Like, it doesn't understand what makes it like, you know, this concept like interesting. Like some games can also like feel pretty AI or like writing, you know. They do like what's asked, but they don't understand really, you know. They don't really understand. And in writing, for example, it can be pretty important if you want to like to add depth to like a story, that it kinda needs some understandings like certain things, you know. Why has the train legs? And why it wouldn't require like tracks, you know, because it could like just walk. And like just try and spawn any people in there. Why are there tracks? You don't understand that. In a sense, like if you know Starfield, that's been done by Bethesda, they have also like a thing there with a lot of planets you can like visit there. A lot of people didn't really like the game. I saw like a kind of a video for that, and it kind of like, you know, a lot of planets with like nothing. And then, oh, it must be great to like go on a spaceship and then like visit a planet, right? But it's not necessarily like that, like going on a spaceship, like visiting the moon, you know, where there's like nothing, you know, that like traveling to that is like interesting. It's like kind of the progress, or like the build up towards that. Like back in the days, you know, there was like kind of the race between like the nations, who can like go towards the moon, you know. Like it's always in plain sight, we can always see it from here, but it was always like an unreachable thing. And then there was like this kind of question if we could like reach it, and then the nations would like work on something, like the different countries. I think it was like Russia and USA, something like that. And then at some point the news came like out that one man made it onto the moon, you know, one small step for me, but a big jump for humanity, something like that. And this was like the thing that's made like really special there, you know. While in Starfield, there's nothing like a build up, nothing like historical, you know. It's just like, yeah, go to the moon, there's nothing, or go to a random planet, there's nothing, but cool, right? But no, it's not really like that, right? And AI in a similar sense doesn't really understand like the importance, the meaning, the what makes things special, and yeah. So I guess like we always like need a human soul behind like things. Or like in general, like why always like human works like feel more special, you know? Like if you look like at artwork at some point, or if you look like into this thing like long enough, at sometimes there's like a vibe check, you know, like, and you can always like kind of feel, okay, this doesn't feel like done by a human at some point. Or maybe I'm a AI, I don't know. But you know, but yeah. Finally realized now to copy in pasta and Krita. Why are the programs so complicated? Yeah, okay, I'm kind of laughing, but at the same time, it's kind of a pain, right? You do make progress and then you're like on a road block. Can I have like art roadblocks too? Some call it like art blocks. That's like mostly like from burnout, I suppose. Like back in days I would like draw daily. Almost every day. I have like a lot of sketches done. Even outside of the sketchbook, you know. When I was like visiting school. You know. I would like draw in my books there. Or like in my notebooks for the school and everything. Not sketchbooks, notebooks. Like not the laptop notebook, you know, but like, you know, like with a paper and everything. And there's a lot I've like drawn. Every day, kind of. But if you like draw every day, you get really susceptible to like art block. Nowadays I can't really draw every day. Because work. I'm an adult now. You could be an AI, you can speak, think and draw at the same time. Yeah, maybe I am so advanced. I'm a super AI. I'm a genius. At the same time, you know, there's like something of you know, there's a pilot, right? When you're like in a mecha, right? But sometimes things can be piloted by multiple people, like in Power Rangers. Where one's like controlling arm, the other one's like the leg or whatever. Or like they're all together in like one and then they're controlling the thing together, something like that. Like when they like summon like the mecha, you know. And I saw like a VTuber kind of thing where they're like playing Smash. it's like beat the AI, and then you get money, $50 or so. But the thing that's like speaking is like actual person, but the one who's playing is another gamer, actually Smash Pro. They would like generate views and viewers like that, live viewers, something like that. And then they would like actually be players who like visit tournaments like that, but because like the one who is like gaming is not like the AI but like actual Smash Pro, it does generate like some views and like some, you know, oh, maybe I can beat the AI, you know. But just like they hired like Smash players who are dead. And this was like also a kind of, you know, thing. Talking, speaking, thinking, and it's gaming at the same time. It's like kind of crazy. It got like suspicious at some point because usually like when you game, like I had like an eye for that, you know, as well. You do log in at some points for like those crazy plays, like to those crazy reads, but they would like comment at the same time, like the VTuber, and then like while they're actually like doing some really crazy play, which actually needs like a lot of concentration, you know, like as a gamer. And there are like some signature gameplays, you know, it's like some pro players do, like their language, their fingerprint, you know, and it's be like, nah, this can only be this guy. Like no one would do footstool up the out of shield as a wolf. There's only like one player does that. Something like that. And it's not like that they have only one player like behind them, they're like multiple people, you know, like playing like multiple characters, something like that. And it was like, it's also interesting. Like it's not a fraud by any means, but you know, because if you win, you get like $50 or so, right? I'm not sure like if this Smash AI, you know, is like still a thing, you know, but it was like interesting to like hear about that. And maybe like, you know, like some VTubers you look up to, they could be the same. Maybe they're not drawing actually. Maybe I'm not drawing because I don't log in while I like draw. And usually like a lot of art streams that I like go, like Japanese art streams, they're silent. They don't talk. Most of the times. I guess it kinda gets natural at some point, like to, you know, you do art for so long, at some point you can just autopilot. But I have to look at the screen, you know, I need my eyes for that. Sometimes I can afford to look at the chat and be like, yeah, let's bounce off here and there. I also need to like fill up the time. Not like to fill up the time, I need to stall until I'm done, right? Something like that. So that the time is like not empty. I think like I'm about 1 hour in. I think it should be like time to like kind of finalize the line art and then like color. Sometimes I get the art done in 90 minutes instead of like 2 hours, but like 2 hours is like roughly its estimate. Yeah. I take my statement back. I don't understand it anymore. Yeah. Well, admitting things is also a great way to like do character development. For character development. I owe your apology. I'm not familiar with a game. I was not familiar with a game. Something like that. Like also like a thing a lot of people say nowadays. A lot of people quote like things they like kind of like know. I like agree with. I think like I'm also like not really different in that sense. But I do get like pumped with a lot of information. I guess like at what I do like as a streamer, kind of necessary. I do like listen to a lot of like podcasts, videos, reviews, you know, of like things I'm like interested in. But at the same time, sometimes I think, ah man, maybe I don't need to watch that. But getting like more information, listening to people talk, sometimes like in real life, like, you know, kind of like walking around where like a lot of people are, like seeing what they do. Sometimes like something crazy would happen. Just like kind of collecting stories. And then at some point like talk about it on the stream. Then you kind of have like something to talk about. Oh, the other day this happened at like the supermarket, you know. I had a near-death experience or something like that. Near-death experience actually. There was one time I had one. And I was lucky it did not happen. And I think I was like a young boy, 13 or so. Should I talk about it? It was winter. I was on a bike. 2000? No, I don't know. But like, back in the days, climate, global warming was like not too much of a big thing, you know? It was not as hot as like nowadays. In winter we're like freezing. Winter was a freezing time. Actually. And the highest temperatures we got were like never above 30 degrees Celsius or so. So when it can get cold, it was like pretty cold. If it like snows, it would like snow for like 4 months. Like 3 months or like so. It would like do like 1 day snow then never coming again, you know. So like streets were like slippery and everything. And I would always like go with my bike to school. Because like with bus and everything it costs like money. And if you like got like the context, you know, of my art journey with my Potato Windows XP professional kind of PC, and I had to get like bottles and stuff. Yeah, I kind of like had to like do what I had to play with the starter and I was like dealt with. And my starter end was like not excellent, you know, like financially. I was like not at the top of my game, nor like okay, parents were like a lot more, had like a better starter than me, but they were like of the stricter side, kind of like Asian parents, you know. I want to be doctor or lawyer. You get like $5, $10 if you give me an A+. And I was like not really diligent in that, really. I just wanted to like, you know, focus on my goals. I want to be good at drawing. Get good, man. But yeah, I would like go with a bike there. Even my bike was like not at the top of the game. It was okay, the daily job. But I was also like not really in a fortunate kind of point because, you know, if you kind of like anime, manga back in the days, you could get bullied. It was like one of the reasons why like people picked on me. Sometimes kids don't need a good reason to bully other people. But yeah, it's good. Okay, I kinda look it up. I'm like underdog, you know? Not a lot of financial means. People would pick on me. And I always would like driving my bike to like the school. It was like a pretty longer one, so 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it was like on a mountain kind of, you know, way. kind of like reminds me of like Steven, he, you know, like with his Asian dad. But, you know, I would like go with my bike, you know, go to the mountain, go to the school, uphill, mountain, 10 kilometers back and forth, you know, and I would like drive there with my bike, and the streets were like slippery, and but I still could like manage like to drive. Sometimes like cars would like pass you by, you know, even like school buses, you know, because it was like really early morning and not of good visibility because it was like kind of like dark in the winter mornings, you know, and yeah, was no issue actually. Like they could see me well, they could like dodge me, you know, get like enough distance, social distancing, and it was like all fine. But sometimes like people would camp there, like somewhere there in the mountain, you know, like from elevated spots, have like their snowballs ready, and then like throw like whatever like passes by. And there were like people like waiting for me, and they threw something, and while a school bus was right behind me, and it didn't really like intended to like, you know, try to get like break out sideways and then like pass by me, you know, but just behind me. I could have died. I could have died if something would have happened there on the slippery slope of a street. But they missed. They missed. It was the only time they ever did an attempt. The next days, they never did anything like that again. They kind of, maybe they kind of like saw the thing, how dangerous this was, you know? So yeah, I guess like lucky, happy end. I couldn't like really see who those kids are, you know? I don't really have an assumption because at that point I was not really like, you know, like things in school were like going good, like socially wise, and like grades were not so good, but you know, it was like kind of a minor story. Kind of like remembered nowadays with like the near-death experience, you know, like kind of like not a throwaway thing, when just like, ah, okay, there was like this thing. There were like some other points, kind of, you know, my brakes wouldn't like work really if I would like drive downhill, but since it's like not a area where it's like driven like very often, where like a lot of cars like drive in and out, I got lucky like there, you know, that no accidents ever happened. I was pretty lucky, despite like my bad starter hand, you know. Like sometimes, you know, you don't know how the rules are in life. How to play like the game of life. How do you play with the cards you've been dealt with, right? Like while skill, knowing how to play the cards is important, luck is also really important. I got lucky really often there. When I hear like stories on like how people get from zero to hero, you know, like voice actors wise, you know, or like manga artists, or like, you know, how some light novels pop off. It's like always, oh man, this is such a cool story. Or like VTubers, you know, like Iron Mouse, for example, like with Fair Disease. Iron Mouse is great. And she has also like some troubles to go through. Not necessarily a great starter hand, and then like later on, like late game, also like this kind of things. I don't know. It can kind of like come by. Hope like things go well for her, and then yeah. But yeah, this was this kind of small story, you know. Life goes on. Like whatever happens. Even if I have died, life goes on, you know. World is like still rotating, and for some other people they might be unlucky too, you know. They might have been unlucky, but for those who like still like manage to like stay, it's like great. There's like still some anime I want to watch, there's like still some manga I want to read. Some streamers, you know, I would like still try to try to support, or like still, you know, watch with like great interest. So yeah, I'm gonna take what I've been given, you know. Actually, it's fine. But I think, like, regarding the hands, I don't know. I'm gonna, like, work on those. And it doesn't look right. It did work, I suppose. We're like 1 hour in. We're gonna erase that part, it's gonna be a lot of progress gone, but let me see. What I can do there. Kyatto. Let's make the arm a lot shorter. Let's make it like stick-like. The hands looks nice, don't worry. I mean, a lot of artists have like problems with like hands. I don't really see a problem in that always, but just like, not necessarily like how the hands look like, but like the, you know, the balance of the whole picture, like if you want to depict something cute, you know, it's not necessarily important like how the hands look like, but that the whole image is cute. Sometimes I can get away with just drawing the hands as like balls, but sometimes I wanna draw, I don't know, for some reason I sometimes think, okay, let me draw like the fingers too, and yeah. What food would you like to be in if you were a potato? What's that question? That fish. I don't wanna be a potato, man. I wanna be Toshan. I wanna be me, I want to be an artist, you know. Okay, maybe I'm an MM artist, you know. There's not a lot of that you can do potato, right? There's like the thing that in Shokugeki no Soma, I think, where they did like improvised, you know. Guess orders like meat dish, but there's like no meat really. They kind of rigged the game, and then, oh, we did a lot of like, you know, we did like a big steak thingy, I don't know, like a big meat dish, but inside it's like filled with potato, you know, something like that. And they absorb like the bacon meat that's like wrapped around it with like a lot of like, I don't know, how do you call it? Dressing? Spicy? No, what do you call it? But yeah, the dressing and everything, and then and like the kind of thing to enhance the like taste. Oils, sauce, flavor. There's like this thing that you can like do to like do the potatoes as a filler. But I don't know much about cooking, to be honest. I do home cook. I do like cook my meals. I do like cook my food. I don't really do takeouts. It's like also cheaper if you like cook your own food. So yeah. Like what food would you like to be in? You know, like potatoes, chips, fries, croquettes. Like to be inside, like not to be converted into something in a new form, right? Like if you like inside, okay, it can be like, okay, I'm wrapped up by meat and then absorb all the good sauce from them. If it's like croquettes, okay, also makes sense because you're like surrounded by like dough, then you get fried, but you don't get fried, but like just the outside. Well, you still like, but you become more soft, something like that. Hard outside, but you're soft inside. Kind of like feels, I don't know, like a tsundere, right? Like kyuteres, like this kind of anime genre. So, if people like croquettes, are they a tsundere? Are they like that? But to be honest, like bread also can be, you know, like the baguette. Can French people be like tsundere? Well, it depends, right? But if you go like from a writer's perspective, when you do character analysis, oh, they eat that, they surely like, must be this, right? Oh, you don't like you know, what's that called? You know, like if you don't like this, you don't like waffles, right? Something like that. Kinda get on the wrong foot every single time. With whatever like you do. Okay. Kind of interesting. Like it's my first time drawing her, so I'm not drawing even a full body, but alright. There's like something like this. Ah yeah, I'm beginner artist, self-proclaimed. I'm not a pro artist. I do that as a hobby, like nowadays. I stream this progress because I don't know. I do need to force myself to draw every single week at least like one time, else I'm getting rusty. There were like a lot of times where I did art streams, but I haven't drawn in months, for weeks. And we're like, it's gonna be so bad, I'm not gonna be good. Well, sometimes it turns okay, but sometimes I like see, I need a lot more like, I need my warm up, I need to feel like a little bit more fit and not rusty to do like some okay-ish pictures, you know? Because like my kind of art is really inconsistent. My art is was really inconsistent back then. And sometimes it gets like, if I do those breaks and then like try again, it gets inconsistent too. Like, I don't know. If you look at my older pictures, if you have like somehow, if you like look at that, you know, like on my social media, it gets inconsistent. Sometimes it looks really good, but the other pictures don't really like have like the same vibe anymore. Something like that. PewDiePie, well, a lot of artists have like the same kind of issue, you know? They have like one top tier art that I created, and then they want to go to this thing back again, but then they can't replicate it, you know? I think like this was like the Mom 4 art, I don't know, this was like with the green haired girl, and then his digital art with like year 1 or something like that. And then he's like, nah, still look, my old art is still goat, you know? Yeah, you have high and low, kind of. Or like a high and then like a kind of consistent middle ground there. Optimally, you want like always be at the top, but it doesn't always happen, you know? There has to be like some certain circumstances. Or like some goals, some eureka moment, I suppose. Sometimes it just happens if you like draw daily, sometimes you get like a really good banger. But there's also like luck involved with like social media, you know? Algorithm. But to be honest, like algorithm doesn't really work anymore on X, for example. Because you need to be a whale, pay to win. So that the algorithm is like working for you. else you are like kind of the mercy of the fandom, you know, that are like looking through the hashtags, since likes are not public anymore, right? So yeah. But to be honest, I don't really mind if like people see what's public from me, you know? I mean, like, yeah, consider muting me, you know? You should just go with the flow, land sometimes, push it as fast as possible like me. Yeah. For me, it's like also like that I go with the flow pretty much, and I don't really focus, I don't really stop that much to like fix issues. Okay, I did it here now, but nowadays I don't really like stop and like fix, try to make it perfect. I just like continue and focus on just finishing, you know? This is my goal for now. Like, short-term goal. Just finish. Better done than perfect, right? You are a lot more productive if you just if your goal is just to make it to the finish line. The Umos are gonna catch up on you if you like slack to, you know. Game is like also really popular right now. I play it also too. But yeah, just finish, you know, just finish. If it's like not good, okay. But as you continue drawing, your speed is getting naturally like getting some level ups. I could like say, you know, oh, I could have done it in 90 minutes, but now I'd like took a time of like, I don't know, like with the hands, kind of like move it close upwards. Made the arms longer. Doesn't really make sense since it's like, I don't know, sometimes I draw like the hands like sticky, not stick man, but like a little more flesh, you know, but still like thin compared to the body. It doesn't make sense, but as long as the picture will look cute in the end, you know, it's all it matters. This is my goal. Like some artists have like like a specific image in mind. Oh, I want to draw it like, you know, I wanna draw cute anime girls, I wanna draw it cute. And then they're just gonna do that. Some wanna draw like something funny, or wanna draw something badass, or they're just horny, then they just wanna draw something like that's like provocating you, I don't know. There are a lot of like reasons. And as long as like this reason, you know, is like fulfilled, like a checkmark done, it's like good. For now, I'm just gonna try to finish. So once I'm like kind of satisfied with the line weight, I'm gonna do color when I'm done. Color is not taking that much with like what I usually do there. But coloring is like kind of fun. Sometimes gets fun. If I get like to something more advanced than like just basic coloring. But even then I'm like not really good at I'm not really good at that. Like coloring is a whole different kind of thing, where if you master it, you can like make really good illustrations. But if you just want to finish, you know, it doesn't really matter like how detailed, how much knowledge you have there to like flex, you know. Sometimes like find it funny when like, I don't know, like it's a meme, you know, a Japanese meme. It's like Leonardo da Vinci, you know? His Mona Lisa artwork took like 4 years or so. A lot of time. And some Japanese people, Japanese artists, they would do something of like this caliber and then they'd just be like RKGK, Akugaki. Scribble, sketch, draft, you know? It's just a masterpiece already, you know? Like, oh, I think like you all saw that already. It's this meme. I kind of like find it interesting that Gigi from Hololive English Justice, her art hashtag is like RKGGK, you know? That all her fan art is like, yo, just some sketches, you know? Just some low quality thing. And then, yeah. but it's art, you know? It's still art, right? No matter the quality. There's a beauty in that. So yeah, we can appreciate our stickmans. We can appreciate our children's drawing, you know, kindergarten-like drawings. And then yeah. Beauty in pain. Yeah. But to be honest, you don't really need to worry like much about if you don't get to finish drawing. I just like focus that I get done 2 hours. People like Leonardo da Vinci, they took 4 years for Mona Lisa or so. Not really sure if 4 years are accurate, but I saw some kind of meme, you know. Be like, oh, this took 4 years, I present you Mona Lisa. And like some artists be like, oh man, I haven't like posted anything in days. What if I get like, if I lose my followers? Something like that, you know. But it doesn't really matter like how fast you are. If you'd like, be like, okay, I'm done, then yeah, just do it. I'm like more of a fast artist rather than like a slow. Sometimes why not finish it like in the same day, so once like one session, you know, like one attempt, one session, and then I'd be like, I can like do it. If I take like more than one session, it takes like some willpower to like actually finish that. So else it's gonna be like unfinished sketch, you know. A lot of like, I have a lot of unfinished works back in the days. Like the folder 2023, 2022, 2021, so everything like between 2022? No. 22? Not year 20 and year 23, let's say like that. We're like pretty much full. There were a lot of like unfinished artworks. Perfectionism and such. But in the recent years, and this year, last year, nothing really. There's maybe 1 or 2, but like, not much nowadays. I do like those art summaries, you know? Those artists would like do. My art 2025, when January, February, March, November, December, you know? Like this kind of summary. They would like post one of the images for like each month there. Like they put it in slots. I would like that every month is like filled with something. That it's like just showing like a sign of like consistency, maybe improvement, you know. But for my part, I've been pretty consistent last year. I like that. I would like to be consistent this year too. At the very least consistent. Maybe have an improvement, but gotta see. I'm gonna do like this weekend something not chibi. Maybe. We'll like draw Inner Lily fan arts. It's a game I like finished recently. Inner Lilies. Really beautiful game. Really beautiful video game art. Art of video game. Like video game is also art form, right? Like it's a combination of art, it's a combination of music, graphics, the story, animations. It's a whole, you know, something. But it's the color. I'm pretty simple like with coloring. I do like some really old school approaches. I do know when I look like at Ina's art streams, for example, there's like something you can like do to quickly, you know. It's just like a push of a button and whoop, done. It's not AI, no. But just like that you already have like most of the things like covered. that can save your time. But I don't know how this works. I need like a tutorial. I don't know like how to look for that. It's like, press of a button, everything's colored. Is there something like that? Oh, there's AI now. Okay, this is what I look for. You know. The internet's not really useful at some points, or like if you maybe can't articulate yourself like properly. But to be honest, like if English is also not my first language. Sometimes I do get it across, you know, what I want, but like the search engine wise, I don't know. I can also write it in German, of course, but even like in German, you know, like even in a language you're like really familiar with, it can also get difficult. To be honest, like my English is not so bad that I will need to use German for that all the times. I rather prefer to speak like English nowadays, really, since I want to like improve that. But sometimes I need use for like my German because there are like people who think like I don't know, who can only talk in one language, you know. It's like this kind of Gus Fring meme, you know. You talk English because you can only talk English. I speak English because you only can speak English. We are not the same. Something like that, right? I've been learning German for 5 years and still cannot say anything. I mean, that's fine. Some people take longer. Some take like, some can be like pretty quick, you know. It takes like about 10 years to master a language. To be like somewhat fluent in it, you know. I watch like anime for a lot longer time, but I'm not fluent, you know. Like passively watching something, actively pursuing, you know, is also a different thing. Can I make the hair like more voluminous? Okay, sure. Sometimes I do be proud if I can like flex my Japanese while I'm in Japanese restaurants to like make some simple orders. And yeah. But when it gets like to the payment process, sometimes there's like some vocab I don't understand. And it's like, I'm just learning, I do like my gaijin card, you know. I'm just learning, I can't speak Japanese, I'm a foreigner, you know, something like that. Oh, English, please. I think like if you are like in Germany, a lot of you should be like fine if you can speak English. A lot of people there can speak English there. Like as a German, learning English is not hard. A lot of like vocab that's like used in English sounds similar to like German. And a lot of words, some words are like borrowed from German, or like what we Germans borrowed from like English are like similar. Yeah. There might be like some hiccups with like where and who, since the where is in our language a who, like from the pronunciation similarly, and the who is like or where, something like that. Wo, where, something like that. I have grown up in Czechia. Have you ever heard of that language? Not really. I've heard of the country when looking at the map, global map, during school. I think they called the book Atlas or something like that. like with maps of the whole world, countries, outdated by now. What I have like back in the days, but those were like really thick books. Really big books to be, yeah, big books. Not necessarily thick, but it has a similar size to like the Guinness World Record books. It's just like the size is like too big. There's so many countries like that. So maybe I like saw like that and then, but nothing more. Maybe like in some soccer manga I saw like that name mentioned, and then it's like Japanese football team against that other football team. Something like that. The German grammar is pretty hard, yeah. But German sounds pretty cool for a lot of people. Like for Japanese people, for example. They use like a lot of like that for special techniques or so. Or like Attack on Titan, you know. You can like see the influence. I mean, okay. They don't necessarily get it right. I mean, they're Japanese. But it's okay, you know. I don't really mind, to be honest. Back in the days, I did mind. Nowadays, I don't really mind. I think it's cute. I'm head out. Thanks for the chill vibes. Alright. Thank you for being there. Have a nice rest of the day. But yeah, the Japanese like that. And when I was like playing Inner Lilies, there were a lot of German words. And some German names, German sounding names. A lot of those. Sometimes, you know, I say like I mostly use English in my day by day. I type in English, my whole UIs on my smartphone, on my games, on my PC are in English. But if I'm gonna encounter like German words, the information is still in my brain. I can still access it and like, no, okay, that means that. The grammar's not right, but you know, I get it, you know. Yeah, they do, and the translation can be sometimes funny. Yeah, it really is. I think like Kekai Sensen, you know. It has like this one dude who's like using some special techniques, but it's like all in German, you know. The grammar's not right, to be honest, but I mean, it sounds cool, I suppose. Like if you do like the Japanese pronunciation, you know, like the Japanglish. I am Dai. Thank you forever. To be honest, I haven't like finished Kekai Sensen. I still haven't like watched the last episode. There was like something weird on the scheduling. Like by the time I like watched it, by the time like Kekka Sensei was like airing. At some point I didn't care anymore about like watching the last episode. I remember like nowadays it's like some shonen kind of series with like some people having superpowers. And then there was like something about some kids called Black and White. Yeah, really good names they like have, right? Yeah, I can't remember much anymore. It has been like years. I don't know like when it was, 2018, 2019. It has been like a lot, almost a decade. So you can't forget those informations. I'm not sure if I gotta rewatch it, you know? Like if I go like now into the last episode, I think like, I don't know who are those people, you know? I can like remember like some of those German special techniques, like this one guy like shouted out, like he did something like Wirbelsturm, Ewigkeit, Gefängnis, something like that. I do remember like the ending song is pretty cool. At least like I remember like those kind of information when I like hear it in karaoke from like VTubers. And I think Amelia Watson, she did like in her second Holofest, she performed that song. Da 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 da. It goes something like that. Jazzy, I think. Playful. Kinda like that vibe. You like jazz? Yeah. I wasn't really thinking much about music genres back in the days, I must like say. I didn't really have it in my focus since I was like looking at like art, you know? And with like not really access to like internet, I couldn't like really watch anime. I tried to do something with like watching it on my potato PC, but nothing was like available. And at that time, anime wasn't like broadcasted to German TVs anymore. I kinda was like craving something. So when people like talk about like their favorite anime, it's all like names I don't like know. Like things like Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece. Okay, I know like those. I watch those. Pokemon was sometimes there. Detective Conan. But like, what is Gintama? What is Gekkan Shoujo no Saki-kun? What is Yahari Ore no Seishun Love Kamura Machigatte? What are those all Japanese title names? I like, you know, like nowadays it was like this kind of generational shift there. Vivi! Yes, Vivi. Hello Knoll, welcome. Drawing Kikirara Vivi from Hololive. Device Flow Glow. It's my first time drawing her. So one of my friends, they recommended me like some anime, like Sword Art Online. Back in the days it was like kind of necessary to get people into anime. It was like, and I did never heard of that before, so he got me like 5 episodes on my USB stick. I tried to watch it on my Potato, Windows XP Professional PC. Nothing supported like this media type. I don't know like what it was. MP4? I think, yeah, MP4. And then, okay, try it on Windows Media Player. Doesn't work. Okay, Windows Movie Maker. Also didn't work. This was just an old PC. It didn't have anything to support that type. Not at all. At some point, I visited like a friend. And I told them about that. And they're like, yeah, you can go to me and we can watch together there. They stick it like to a flat TV, flat screen TV. For me it was like, what is that device? You know, I was like just old school. We had like those really old TVs there, you know, that are like those big boxes, you know, square form, like, you know, like square boxes, like of this kind of size. CCTV, right? Like those CCTVs. We had something like that, but like flat screen TV, and then like I was that broke. I was that broke back in the days. If I remember correctly, when anime was never Cheshire, oh, it was there, but I'm too young. Could also be like some where like at pretty awful times. Like for me, it would like start airing between 11 AM to like 3 PM or so. And for most of those anime, I'm like still in school. And then there were like some anime like Pokemon I like to watch. And then I would like hurry up. Like walking from my elementary school to home. 5 minutes, 10 minutes so. And once I'm done, I would like jump onto my couch, grab the remote TV, turn on, but nah, but would that be a lot longer? My parents would like save energy or so I had to like go to this, I don't know how you call it. I do know how it's called in German, but it's like this little thing there. It has like those stuff. And then it had like one thing, like a switch with like a power on, power off or so. I had to turn that on and turn on the square box TV here. Then grab my remote. Had to like press something to turn on. I had to select the right channel. It was like that complicated. It took like about, I don't know, 1 minute to like finally get there. And then I could like watch. And it was just, oh man. It took like time. We got anime in CDs that cost like 1 cent in Southeast Asia. What? And we didn't use DVD players. For me it was like broadcast on television, you know, like it was like those right channels. Like nothing like DVD. There would be something like that with like when my grandparents would bring me like, I'd be like, oh, I wanna watch some movies, I want like some watched Power Rangers, and then they would get me like that on like CDs of very sus background. Like they pirated, actually, you know. I never knew that they pirated it really back in the days. I was a kid, I didn't really understand that. I was like pretty boomer kind of mindset, you know. But they would bring me those in CDs. They were like really thin plastic foil. Not like actual DVD boxes like PlayStation. Or like, you know, Xbox games. Blu-ray boxes, but like really thin plastic foils. And there's like one sheet of paper like printed like Power Rangers, Pokemon or something like that with the image and like a number, like number 1, number 2, number 3, something like that. Which order you like watch that. And then it would be like weirdly dubbed. So it's like either in English or like Japanese. And then there's like this Southeast Asian language, like for some it's like Thai language, you know, then it would be like dubbing over it, you know, like old woman's voice, or like, you know, like something would like Kurae, and then like some would silently dub, take that, something like that. I gotta win. Oh, it's my win, or something like that. You know, it's like it was like this kind of thing. They brought me like it was really cheap, I suppose, but yeah. Any online hobby felt like a commitment. Yeah, but back in the days I didn't really had internet access. So I kind of had to like rely on TV channels for that. At some point I didn't like broadcast it anymore, you know. It was always like watching the same episodes like One Piece over and over again. Like it goes like until like the thriller arc, and then like it repeats, goes like back to the beginning, then like Arlong or whatever. I never could like watch it in the right order. Sometimes I could like watch on TV, sometimes I could not. My parents would ban me for that and be like, get me an A+ first, and when you are allowed to watch on TV. And yeah, kind of makes sense. You have to focus on your studies first, and then you get rewarded. But I was never good. I was never really focused on being good at school. You know, it's like a short-term motivation, you know. Be good at school, then you can watch that thing, you have like more access to that hobby, but it was never that important to me, you know. I never had really like a desire, goal or something like that. Until it came like to, okay, I want to be an artist, you know, I want to draw manga, you know, something like that. But to be honest, my parents, they didn't really understood like what my desires were, what am I into, you know. You know, like I sometimes like hear those kind of interesting stories like from other streamers, VTubers, you know. I feel like it was like, I don't know, but like typical mistakes like parents do, you know. They see you as a kid always like play like with Barbie, you know. They'll be like, oh, they want to be princess, they want to be a Barbie, you know. At some point they're like older, maybe like 18 years old, you know. And when they get your Barbie figurine with like dollhouse, the whole set on your 18th birthday, be like, happy birthday! And it's like, yeah, kind of awkward. Should I pretend to be happy about that I get this, you know, in front of all my friends? Or should I like be like, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want at all. You're like bad parents. I thought I'm 18 years old. How can you get me that, you know? It's like kind of that, it's like kind of this kind of thing that they didn't really like get what I want, you know? Then be like, okay, whatever. Replacing presents with presents. Yeah. But it was like that. It was like that. There was a disconnect. I mean, it's fair, I suppose. But we could communicate, me and the parents. It was like not on my 18th birthday, by the way. It was just like when I was younger, there was like this kind of miscommunication, you know. But they would give me a lot of like, I don't know, candies, I suppose. Instead. I never really complained. But it would always like go on this route of like, okay, hey, do you have some PC games? Can I borrow those? And then would like test if they can work on my potato PC. There were like some bangers like Stronghold and like Dungeon Keeper 1 and 2. So like some real life tactical games where you deploy units. In Stronghold's case, you like can build a castle, you know, something like that. Collect resources, and then you use like those resources to build like a better castle and to build more units to protect your castle, your whole kingdom or something like that. And if it's like a story mode or like some objectives like, okay, fight those people off, or like produce like iron, produce like enough food for your kingdom. And then sometimes there would be like invaders rather than like bandits or whatever that they would like fight another kingdom, you know, like against actually like some enemies. It was like kind of like cool, like with Stronghold. With Dungeon Keeper it was like a lot more the dark fantasy aspect, you know, not like Middle Ages. So that you play like the evil guy. Not Clash of Clans, what is this Zuma shit? We talk like about like the boomer kind of games like back in the days that like work on like Windows XP Professional, you know, like some potato PCs. Like Clash of Clans is way too new. This was like on smartphone, right? But I talk like about like things where like smartphones, Nintendo DS, Wii didn't even exist, you know. This was like GameCube, Xbox 360 era, so I think it was like pretty old. Like Dungeon Keeper, dark fantasy. You play like the evil guy. It was like real-time strategy or so. And it's like a little bit of a dungeon, you know, you're like underground. And you will build like units like imps, what's called Iron Maidens, but it's not like this object Iron Maiden, but it's like actually like, you know, there's like some devils you can summon, wizards, goblins, something like that. It's like, it's a pretty old man. I mean, I suppose, but maybe not, you know. My circumstances were that I was pretty broke and then I couldn't like access a lot of things. Well, yeah, maybe I've doxed myself for like saying, oh, not this era, you know, like this era, you know. Yeah, whatever. But were like some pretty good games they got me. At some points I kind of like found out there were like some RPG Maker games. And actually a lot of them worked on my PC. On my potato PC. Kinda I'm like regretful there that I couldn't like play bangers like Humaniki, you know? Or like Eep. That I could like access us earlier. I did play like some RPG Maker games, mostly like German ones, but man, I really wanted to try like those games, or like encounter those games like earlier, you know, like those Japanese RPG Maker games like Mad Father, Angel of the Death or so. Like a lot of those niches, you know. I still play older games because of shit PC too, though I get it, yeah. I mean, if like, I think like the old PC games, they were pretty banger, you know. At some point I got like a little bit older, you know. Where I was like at 18 and I still had like this, this old ass PC. and yeah, I needed like a lot more in my repertoire. And I found like out, oh, you can like download from the internet like some stuff, you know. Not only anime, but more. It's just like, you know, I get a new toy. And then it's constantly like find out more things about how to play with this toy. Like internet was always a mystery for me. I knew like one niche, but only like this one niche. I was like one trick pony, like what I can like access or like information there. But more and more doors opened, and then I tried to abuse those. So I played like my first eroge there as well, like via downloading this onto my old potato PC. And no, this was not like high quality AAA, you know, like eroge, whatever. Those were like some pretty old ones, like DOS kind of thing that you had like to run on like some really old kind of program, and it was just like, man. I gotta go, bye. Beeps, okay, bye bye. Have a nice one. Call of Duty Ghost is still peak. think like it's old, but it's like not old enough for a potato PC. Like I think like I have can I show you? Nah, I don't have the PC anymore, but maybe like some Google searches can like help. I'm still like in the middle of drawing, so maybe not. If this were like Satsudan stream, no, like a Satsudan dedicated stream, I could like pull up some images here and there and like show you that. Google images. But it was pretty old PC. It was like yellow? Yellow? No, not yellow. It was white, you know, from its design. But this white like washes off and gets like more yellowish, a little bit. It's like the sign of age. You can like see on there clearly. But yeah, as I got like more access and then like more money, I got like my job and then like earn money, they could like spend that money. Like more like opened up, and I could like enjoy what I always wanted to do as a child. And then like I spent a lot of like time with like gaming there, playing like things like Morrowind. Not Morrowind. Morrowind was our old one, but it's like finally worked. Like it didn't work on my old potato PC, but it did work like a newer PC. And then like things like Oblivion, Skyrim a lot later. But I think I vibed a lot with Morrowind and like Oblivion. Skyrim not so much. Like the whole game system is like very different from like its older titles, you know. Skyrim was still good, but I didn't enjoy it as much as like the older Elder Scrolls game. I feel like everyone played the maze game on that one. Maze game, yeah, I don't like know what kind of maze game. I don't know of Minesweeper, I do know of Solitaire. There's like this pinball game that was like there as well, and I don't know about the maze game. Maybe it was like dungeon crawler ones, you know, first person perspective that like the actual first 3D. Oh no, nah. It's like similar to like Doom, the very first Doom, I think. Like with the bad. The maze game with jump scare? Okay, then I don't know. Never encountered that one or heard of that. Like sometimes I go watch other people play, you know, and just be like, you know, be patient, watch, you know. I kinda like was okay with like watching gameplay, you know, like watching other people play. Like before, watching streamers was a thing. Like watching them play a game. I do get distracted regarding that. I think like seeing a screen, there's like something magical that it's like pulls me in. At some point, like I also found out there's like some kind of tricks like the corporations like do with their apps or whatever to like clue you onto the screen, or like with ads, for example. They also have like something played there for 0.1 seconds or so, and then it triggers something like unconsciously or something like that. But in general, like when there was like video games, like someone was playing, I kind of like kind of took a glimpse, you know, like Mr. Bean when he's like trying to copy someone's homework, you know, like something like that. And then yeah, what do they play? What is it? What they do? Is this game good? And sometimes I do quite catch myself like watching and be like, yeah, okay, I guess I'm interested. It would be at a time where they have like smartphones as well. I feel like everyone with potato PCs felt that way in GL. Yeah, I suppose so, because it's like it's a clear upgrade to what you have. I think like I wasn't like jealous, but there was like envy. There was envy there. Be like, man, it should have been me, not him, or something like that. But yeah, at some point you get to that point, you know. I just had that bad starter hand there. And I played with it. And it was fun. And it's like hard to get back. It's like hard to go back to the old starter hand because I have like a lot better options now. But maybe when we stop having good games in the future, we're gonna play old games. Like for example, I played like an old game with like Inner Lilies, 2021. It's like not that old, you know, like it's not Potato PC era, but you know, I get to play old games. Maybe at some point I'm gonna play Earthbounds or so. But I need to like find out how to play that. And like how to access that, you know. I think like for the Switch, there's like not much. Earthbound is pretty old. I think like pre-2000 or so. Nintendo console. But yeah, I really became like a gamer once I got access to like more. I finished like Oblivion 100%. I remember. I knew a lot of cheese tactics and abused all of those. I played like pretty slowly. Pretty stealthily. I could like kind of run a no-hit run, more or less. I kinda like heard that they did a remake of like Oblivion. I could kinda like revisit my older days, more or less there. Oh, leg spike, yeah. At the same time, yeah, I think like it's good. I don't necessarily need to play like Oblivion or so. I finished the game, I'm like good. For stream content can be like okay. At the same time I want to play like games I haven't played before. Like where I don't know the story or so. Inner Lilies I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Inner Lilies. Maybe it's like just the bias of like that one of my favorite artists is like working on this game. Well, it did inspire this game, yeah. Let's say like that. Like drawing artists, like not musical artists. I found out later with the musical artist and be like, yo, I like this musical artist. But like drawing artist, yeah. Lil 40, my god. And story-wise, character-wise, I pretty much like that. But yeah, I'm not gonna spoil. I think I'm gonna talk about it more if I'm gonna stream on Sunday. I gotta go, man. My interest's way too sloozy. Have full. Let's read it like that. Have fool, you all. Okay, you have fool too. Bye bye. Have a nice one. Back in the days, I liked to correct people when they do like a minor spelling mistake. Ha, minor spelling mistake, I win. And then I would correct them or whatever. But sometimes, you know, I just gonna I don't really care much about it anymore. Like if someone has a minor spelling mistake or typing mistake, whatever. But back in the days, I was like kind of elite, you know. To be like, haha, you know, you can't even spell that right, and then like belittle them. But a lot of character development happened, I suppose, and then I kind of like am tired. Or maybe like, yeah, I got older, I get tired and be like, oh man, I don't have the energy for that anymore. And just let them be, you know, let them be, and it's alright. I don't have the energy anymore. Sometimes I'm good get angry, but now and also as well, besides like dealing out those jabs, you know. And sometimes I go like too far with my jabs, that it gets like, you know, not a jab anymore, but it's like something stronger, you know. Accidentally you throw out a more stronger punch, you know, and then it's like, yeah. Then you get drunk on your power, you know, of like, that you know a little bit more. Maybe it's like one of the reasons like why those people dogpiled on me, like when I like showed my bad art, and then be like, wow man, you're bad. I'm gonna draw. And it's so much better than yours. Whatever. But yeah, once you like have a taste of the power, you kind of like get drunk on it and then get corrupt, I suppose. I had that kind of phase too, but at some point I kind of like got tired and be like, yeah, take a step back, look at the bigger, at the bigger picture, and it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I kind of get it. I kind of read the room now a lot better. But really takes like some life experience, some wisdom, you know. Until you have like the wisdom collected. Like wisdom is like kind of a weird thing. You can't really get it until you do mistakes. Or maybe you're gonna hear the stories from other people and we'll be like, okay, you did a mistake, let's learn from that, you know, something like that. The fastest way is like learning by yourself. But the best and safest way would be like just to learn from others, you know? It's just like this walkthrough, the guidebook of like life, you know? But things are like more fun to experience on your own. Like I don't play games, really, like back in the days, but nowadays I don't really like play games with a guidebook. Or like with a walkthrough. I play the games blind, how the developer intended to, and like experience it like my way. Have fun. If I mess up, I mess up. But streaming with an audience has like is a double-edged sword. The backseating doesn't really like matter to me much, but when I get spoiled, then this doesn't happen if I play like by myself. Sometimes the backseating can be helpful when I'm like lost, you know, and then go to the right. Oh, okay. Of course I have to do that when I play Super Mario, right? You always walk right. No spoilers, man. Some games are like really good on a stream, but some games aren't. There's like this game called Seven Sentinels, Aegis Rim. I kind of want to play, on stream, but it's just a really, really long game. I don't think it's like right to do that. I don't think it would be like right to stream that one. There's a lot of listening, not really reading it on your own. Which is good and bad. It would just be me, my PG, that still I don't talk and just let out the dialogue, you know, let the dialogue play. I would like to commentate, but then it would be like a lot longer than like finishing the game. I do enjoy games, but I do enjoy games with voice acting, to be honest. I don't hate those. But as a streamer, it's like, yeah, and I kind of want to put new inputs here and there, but then is it optimal? Never really experienced that. Never really like got a taste of that, but it's kind of interesting. Got like streaming games, you know. What's like short, concise, what can be finished in one stream or like a few streams. Like, in the first stream there are like about 100 viewers. In the second stream like less than 100. You know, it's like this kind of thing. Yeah, the first stream I'm gonna watch. And then the second stream, okay, I haven't watched the first stream, so I need to like catch up that one, you know? And it's like doable. But once there's a third, fourth, fifth, it's gonna be like more to catch up to. At some point people just give up. Something like that. So there's like kind of the meta that, you know. But for me, I'm like kind of selfish if I play like, if I stream games. Like if it's not a live service one like Uma Musume, but like a game with an end in sight, but just like super long. Like Xenoblade, I think. That I just like play for me, I suppose. I do it for myself. But Jamie, you do it for the family. No. I did it for myself. I liked it, you know, like this. I was good at it. I felt alive. To be honest, a lot more people should like do things for their own interests, you know, not like for other people. It can be like really cool if people like what you do, you know, they're interested in yourself, not like some game that's like slapped onto it, like some title logo, you know, for marketing, but like what for yourself, you know. Okay, Hololive. Sometimes I watch because it's Hololive, right? It's like this kind of bias. I don't know really. I think they're not the same when I watch them on their alt. Well, not all like alts, but yeah. I'm not gonna like really like dox them, right? You know, I'm not gonna do that. But you know who they are. They're not like Hololive or like Holostars anymore. You still like them, but it's like not quite the same, right? I have sometimes this kind of issue. In the beginning, kind of. With some I can really tolerate it, I think. But I suppose it just like shows that I really like this one streamer. Alright. I'm not really like happy with this one, to be honest. I think I'm gonna add some like things like effects there, like a little bit of like some speed lines. Think of how long I went. I said like I'm gonna take about 2 hours until I'm done. It took me like we're like more than 2 hours in. Sorry, Marcel. I think like that's the reason why a lot of people like bail out for now. Okay. Let's finish on. Let's focus on finishing. Let's do that. There are like some symbols here. Let's do it like that. I can't keep my word. I'm gonna log in. Thing is, I also like run out of talking topics. At some point, I'm just gonna be like a little bit more. I'm like thinking a little bit more before like say something, you know, like an AI would do. They like think a little bit about their answer. Can you give me some time to think? Can I think about that? Can I think for a second? May I think for a moment? Okay, you're really throwing me a curveball there. Give me some time. Give me a minute, please. Just a minute, though. Okay, I'm kind of locking in. If I don't talk like for a little bit, it's just like that I'm like focusing on like the progress. I sometimes do that if I'm like kind of in the finishing kind of process, you know. Actually, it didn't took like much more to like finish it, to be honest, but I really get like distracted of like when I like talk at some point. But if I got like really fully in, it doesn't take like much. Or if it's just like the sketch alone, I would be like done. And sometimes I just like end it with a sketch. I don't like color anything. Sometimes. I'm not like sure about when I try Inner Lily, since the art is like really beautiful in like this game of this franchise. And sometimes I like think maybe my kind of habit of like drawing dirty but detailed can like help there, you know? If we're gonna draw like the Umbral Knight, his dirty armor and everything. Dirty, grimy armor with like some cracks in the armor and sword. Like clear signs that someone has fought. And then like try to do like a little bit more dark fantasy meta, you know, like with Berserk for example. Like where the armor also like took some damage. And that has like some rawness in there, right? That's like raw. It's like nothing like clean, pristine. Like it has always been like shiny. But just like show the ugliness of like things. Raw expression. Yeah, something like that, you know. And if you ever always like go with like this rawness, everything is like fine. It doesn't, you know. In the sense, I kinda like, to be honest, there's like Keisu Wabe's art style. He has like a really good way on like drawing metal and everything. And like giving them some kind of like filter I think it's custom made. Nothing like via program that, you know, like press, you know, something like of their own home cooking. That they give them like some kind of cinema aura or something like that. A little bit of a darker tone, and then like... But for some reason it still looks clean. The art is like still clean somewhat, even though they put like a filter, like custom filter above that. Like the Keisuwabe fingerprint there. Let's take like Agnes Takeon and like Manhattan Cafe, like those two Imamisimi's like example, you know. They're like drawn a badass way, but if you compare that, you know, with like every other picture, it does have like this kind of fingerprint. It's consistent, yes. But it's like not dirty and raw enough or something like that, you know, like with Ender Lilies. Okay, there's like a thing like Lily, she's clean, but still it's like something somewhat raw, you know, if you put like Umbra Knight next to her, like any other of the spirits. It's kind of like cool. Like one doesn't work with the other, like Kuroko and like Kagami from Kuroko no Basket. You're the light, I'm the shadow. The stronger the light, the stronger the shadow is. Or something like that. Kuroko no Basket. It's not my first sports anime, I must like say. But it feels like it's like one of the first proper ones I really watched. And TV, I saw like Captain Tsubasa. I saw like Inazuma 11 for a bit. I was able to watch like all episodes of the first or second arc. First and second arc, I suppose. Nothing like of the later ones. That's kind of interesting. Was everything like German dubbed? I don't like know how good this is like of the Japanese one. Probably better. But yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, Kuroko no Basket and then Haikyuu, I suppose, are like maybe free, but free is not really a sports anime. It's more like hot boys are being hot. And then there's a little bit of character development, drama. The KyoAni work. And sports anime, man, they have a lot of bromance in there as well. Not necessarily gay. Maybe with Haikyuu? I don't know. But it's like a lot of bromance in there. And a lot of male characters. I kind of like see why the Fujos do have like something with that. And it can like be interesting what they like come up with. I have a lot of artist friends and are like Fujos. Sometimes I try to understand them. But I think I don't have to be honest. But back in the days I really tried to understand. It was kind of like, you know, this curious kid with the new toy. How do I play with that? You know, when I see the other kids who like are really passionate about this toy and will be like, hey, can you teach me? You know. But for some, it's like not a, yeah, not a really a good start, you know, into anime. Nowadays I have a lot more freedom, a lot more of developed tastes, I suppose. And I do like want more substance when I like watch something new. But yeah, let's see what I can do here. So it's those colors. Something's complementary. I do like that there's like purple and like red, pinkish there. Maybe like something, I don't know. Let me see what I can do. Like some effects, nothing like lightning or anything with color. It's just like a simple effect. It's like hand-drawn, handmade. Well, those are kind of like pay attention for more cleanliness. But if it's just like me, if it's just like a you know, I draw myself, it's just like that. It's like whatever, I'm gonna be dirty. I don't care much about myself, to be honest. Like, you know, if I clean like other people's room, I'm gonna be like thorough. I kinda like doing house chores. But if it's for myself, you know, I'm gonna be like, huh, let's do it whenever I have time, you know. I don't care much about myself. I don't have much self... yeah, you can't like say I don't have much self-worth, you know. I put myself like last. And yeah, when I stream, I kinda like have priorities, you know. I do like do things for myself, but at the same time, my priority is like not that big for myself. Let's see. Here's something red. Let's try something red. I don't have like the same tool as like on MIDI Bang for this kind of thing. I could like try something. Let me see. Let me save first. What's this called? Let's give a number. This one.
Okay, Okashi na, sorewa. Okay, this is weird. Okay, doesn't really work. The lines do not align. Alright. Man, this is trash. Doesn't really work well. I'm gonna do it like by hand. At the very least, I don't know how to use it properly. Back in the days, nah. Actually, like Medibang was like better there. Maybe we're gonna switch there and then. But it's like an unfamiliar tool. Not really like sure like how to do it. Like the most I like do is like do it hand drawn. And I don't really like mind much like how the quality is, since I'm like pretty much fine as I'm done. I think like if I keep it under 3 hours, it's like always like okay, it's okay. Could be better, but it's good. Since my time is limited. Like the hours in the day are limited, you know. I mean, like everybody knows that, but what I would like to say is that I do value my time. While I value art, I value time more. If I am efficient, like you know, saving myself time, I can draw more. With that time, I like save myself up. But the faster I get, you know, the better I get like with the speed. It does like help in the long run. I think you can kinda get the energy from that one now, with those little effects there. But this was kind of the idea. And I'm kinda like glad I can like get this out there. What was in my head? Vivi! Something like that. That when she like comes to the Vivi part, a ray of sunshine also. Oh yeah, gonna like see how it looks like in 3D. Like when she has her 3D debut, how does it look like, you know? When I was like seeing of X Albion, he always has like this greetings of like Komban X! Or something like that. How would this look like? There were like some fan art there with him doing like a weird pose, but when it got into 3D, then he actually like there was actually like something. Okay, I think good enough. I kind of like want to do more there, but I'm gonna keep it like raw and dirty. So that's gonna be all for today. Haha, this is it. I think like what I else can do is like moving it like a little bit more center. It's like, yeah. For me, Vivi is like a little bit more of a cheerful person. A ray of sunshine. A ray of positivity, yeah. In any case, that's all for today. Thank you all for watching. It's been like 2 hours and 40 minutes, roughly. Could have been faster, but this is like what you get for now. Thank you all for watching. I wish you all a nice rest of the day, evening, or good night. Whatever time zone in the world you all are. And what am I gonna say? Bye bye.